Hello, YouTube. Right, first thing to do is open up Reason, File, New, get rid of the demo song. Click on the arrow to the hardware interface, bypass in the mastering suite, and call this hardcore tutorial. There we go. Right. Tempo to 170 BPM. Click on the button where it says blue, turn it on so it's turned blue. Detach the sequencer, the little detach sequencer button there. So go to that bit, detach sequencer to get rid of that. Open up two combinators, one beat, two loops. Inside the beat combinator, line 62, redrum, initialize, create, spider audio merger and splitter, duplicate, again and again and again, so you have 5. I can't be bothered to say that number because it sounds like Thor for some strange reason. Call the first one kick, clap, hi, hats, ride, snare, fill. Oh, if you're wondering about the Danish flag in the background, please watch my other video. I can't be bothered to keep explaining it. On the mixer, just right click, create RV7000 advanced reverb, hit tab to look at the back of the rack, take the red cables out of the mixer, leave everything else alone for now. Right, number 1, out of redrum into kick and into lane 1 of the mixer, 3 into clap, out of clap into slot 2 in the mixer. 5 will be your snare fill, so into snare fill, the audio merger and splitter to lane 5. 7 will be the ride, so into the ride, out of the ride into flame 4, so into spider splitter and out of spider splitter, and 8, 9 into spider splitter and into lane 3, and then on top of the mixer create another spider audio merger and splitter and send number 10 into the A and B channel until it says external routing. So out of 10 into spider splitter. This is for our side chain, so call this side chain, and then tab again. Then what you do is you hit the save patch and call that hardcore beat. Hardcore beat. Return, saves on the desktop, right click, new folder, hardcore patches, and then send that into there. So basically whenever you're making another hardcore song you can just open up this same patch here and it saves you faffing around with making a new one to save time. Alright. The only difference obviously will be that you won't have the routing for the sidechain compression. So when you do, just add in the spider splitter and the sidechain compression, boom, straight into that, okay? Unless what you do is you save this as a template, so you just hardcore template and voila, then it will have that in there. So you can add, if you want to, what you do is you just, once you're building a song up, just initialize that patch, hardcore template, and then that way you just open it up, you can save it as a hardcore template, And then that way you know exactly what goes into every device. You just open up the hardcore template, add your samples in, and start working on the track so you know what you're doing with each one. So you save some time for you. Right, back to the tutorial. Lane 1, we want a kick. Go find your kicks. Kick. 3 is a clap. Clap, clap, clap. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, 13, brilliant. 5 is a snare, so find your snare. Snare, snare, snare. Oh, that will do. Number 12. 7 is a ride. There you go. If you're wondering what I've just done there, I've just turned the velocity down on the snare on the redrum channel. Don't want it too much present on there. There you go, that'll do. So you want closed hi-hat and an open hi-hat. And then number 10 is another kick. This will be for your sidechain compression. Right, so 1, pattern 1, 1, 5, 9 and 13. Copy pattern to track. Number 2, 3, 5 and 13. Copy pattern to track. 5 we're going to leave empty. 7 and 3. So select 7, pattern 3, 1, 5, 9 and 13. Copy pattern to track. Over to pattern 4, number 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15. I suggest to make this loop 2 bars. So just send that little red arrow there to 2. I'll explain the reason why in a minute. Trust me, just trying to save some time. So 3, 7, 11 and 15 on the open hi-hat. Copy pattern to track and leave number 8. Right, go to your sequencer window. There you have a 2-bar loop for your hi-hats. So what you do is you open that up and make it 8 bars long instead. Open it up. This is just saving some time, and just click on the closed hat, copy over to this. Oh god, not there. Right. So you have a pattern that looks like this. Then all you do is you just click on all of it, bar form, copy and paste. So it becomes a 4-bar loop. Copy and paste. So select it all, control, copy. And that becomes an 8-bar loop. Wahey! Instead of faffing around, going click, 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 click all the way through. Okay, done. Right, now up to beat. New note lane. 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. So you have 5 lanes in there. So right click in the beat combinator. New note lane. I want 5 of those. Kick. Clap. Hi-hats. Ride, ride, ride. And snare. Fill. Right, so lane 1 should be your kick. Lane 2 is your clap. Lane 3 is your ride. Lane 4 is your hi-hat. Go to the redrum. Delete track. Leave the snare fill for later. Now you've done that, make sure you click on the enable pattern selection and turn it off, and then show devices on the button and close it down. for now. In the loop combinator, which I open up a line 62, Dr. Octorex loop player, initialize another, oh no, wait there, click on, so it goes blue, as long as it's blue, alright, ECF42 envelope control filter, and then, so it's blue, duplicate, and duplicate, send that one down here, oh god, send it down, send it down, tab to look at the back of the rack, out of the main outputs of the second Dr. Octorex, and out of the into the filter, and then out of the filter into a separate channel of the mix. There we go. Then call this one intro loop break beat for the second, and then there you go, intro loop break beat. Show programmer, line mixer 2, button 1, solo channel 1, button 2, solo channel 2, turn on both of the buttons, right click, edit automation, and there you have it. Now go down to the intro loop, rotary channel 1, frequency, rotary channel 2, resonance, that's on the intro loop, click on the breakbeat, rotary 3, rotary 3, 3, 3, 3, frequency, rotary 4, resonance, and bum 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 bum. Then send all these rotary channels to the top, edit automation, bottom, then in, freak, in, res, BB, freak, BB, res, and there you have it. Then there you have your rotary channels for each one. Oh, in here, new note lane. Number 2, intro loop. Number 1, break beat. You're probably thinking, why on earth am I putting 2 loops in the same patch? Well, this is how to teach you how to make 2 loops in the same looping interface. You can do this 4 times, considering you've got 4 buttons. That way you have one area for all your loops to go in, and then you just draw in a little button envelope here and tell it to play or turn off one of the loops. This is just teaching you, a very good way of teaching you button synchronization or button automation, whichever way you want to look at it. So I'm going to make myself a cigarette, so just bear me 2 seconds, won't be long. Sorry, but I've got amber leaf today instead of gold leaf, and it tastes like cack. Can't take the taste out of my mouth. Hate it. They didn't have any gold leaf in the shop, so I'm going to roll myself a nasty cigarette. There we go. Done. Tastes so nice. Right, anyway, so go down to your loop, open it up, and you're looking for a loop. Oh god. There we go. Copy pattern to track, and turn off the enable loop enable loop playback button, and then shove her down. Open up the second one, do the same thing, but this time we're looking for a breakbeat. Yes, I'm very organised. There we go, that'll do. It's only for a tutorial, I don't really give a shit. So there you go, copy pattern track, enable loop play button, and then just turn them off, shut them down, and then bum bum bum, turn them down as well, shut it off. Right, so what you're doing here is you open up button 1, the envelope that is, that we've drawn in, and then draw in a dot anywhere in the button. It really does not matter. And what this will do is if we put this one here is going to be our normal loop, so the intro loop, and on the second one, and I'm going to prove my point here, button 2, so we have button 1 there, button 2 there. Static values of both the buttons need to be set to 0, so if you change them to 0, so just make sure you go button 1, 0, button 1, button 2, 0, and that sets a static value to 0. Fucking things always go out. And then if we just send them over to there a second, take these envelopes out of there as well, what you'll have is, see, the button 1 there's playing, and that intro loop there is playing. I'll prove that. Don't worry about the volume. Yeah. So it's off because there's no envelope present. And now the breakbeat's off because there's no envelope present. So that's basically how you work a button. So if you've got something that you want to turn off at a certain point of the track, maybe the ride, maybe a kick, anything like that, just use a button. They're brilliant. Trust me. I'm a genius. This is just teaching you how to do that in one tutorial. And another way of working 2 loops inside the same tutorial. Maybe you're making drum and bass and you want to put multiple loops in the same combinator. This is the way to do it. Save your space so you can put more devices in on 14 channels. Ba-bum! Genius! Right? Right, now you might want to open up the rotary and just draw in a rough guide here and here for your filter resonance, and then voila, done. And then just select both of them, copy and paste. So that's basically the resonance and the filter. Ugh, back in my mouth. Ugh. Ugh, gross. There you go. Just a way of doing a filter sweep or a filtering effect with your loops. So when you're building in the drums, maybe the first 16 bar section you want to loop and you want to filter them in, that's the way to do it. Just make sure that you mix the taste of the loops in here rather than here, and then you've done it. Okay, right, next tutorial coming up is the snare roll and the bass line. So sit yourself ready for that. Okay, cheers guys.